Hey guys, it's Kevin again this morning for the mid-season premiere of Outlander, Season 1, Episode 9, The Reckoning, and I could not wait for this premiere. I mean, the cliffhanger that we were left on at the end of the first half of the season, I could not wait for. I knew that this premiere was going to be amazing, and it was by far the best episode of the season, seriously. There were so many things I loved about this episode. One of the things I loved about this episode is that we got a lot more character development with Jamie. And this episode actually focused more on Jamie because we actually didn't have a Claire narration. We had a Jamie narration. And I think it was a lot stronger that they did that. And I definitely enjoyed that they did that because it made us care more about his character. And it gave us a lot more. And actually gave us some pretty interesting twists. And I really love where the second half of the season is going. If they keep doing this, like shifting focus between Claire and Jamie, I think it's a really cool idea. But let's just get in this episode because it was amazing and had pretty much everything we've loved about the show, and I love this episode. So we start off not right where we left off. I thought it was interesting we didn't start off that way. We actually start off with Jamie. He appears in the window of, basically, this episode's beginning actually mirrors the beginning of the first episode because we see the Scottish landscape and the narration that focuses on what has happened in the past are all there. The biggest difference that it's Jamie's turn. And I love that the episode did that. As I said, it focused more on Jamie. And basically, we see that the biggest difference is that basically he's talking about reflecting on what has come to pass. And at the end of the monologue, basically, we are thrown back into the present story because Jamie is then meeting with Horrocks and to see if he knows something that will clear Jamie of the charges against him. And Jamie's not completely focused on the meeting, possibly thinking about what has happened with Claire and himself with the Glade. I mean, of course he's worried about Claire because he told Claire stay behind, but he knows that Claire is very, much an independent woman. She's not exactly going to listen to him, so of course he's concerned. Dougal is trying to pull him back into focus. There is doubt that Horrocks is trustworthy and worth the coin being paid for his information, considering that he is an English soldier deserter, and that's not a good thing because, of course, they're Scottish, and Jack is English, of course, and after threatening to leave the meeting, Dougal gives him the payment. However, Horrocks claims that Jack was the one that killed the sergeant, and Jamie knows that he can never use that information to clear his name because who would believe that Jack shot one of his own men, which, I mean, that's understandable, really. I mean, it doesn't seem believable, even though it is true. Jamie can never really say that because if it came down to, who they would trust, they would definitely take Jack's word over Jamie's word. I mean, Jamie's not on their side. It just could end up really bad for Jamie overall. So as Horrocks leave, Willie agrees on arrives on a horse frantically. He tells the man that Claire was captured by the Redcoats and taken south and that he heard her thrashing and everything, and the group rides off to save Claire, and I love that that's when the opening credits begins, because I thought it was going to begin when we saw that monologue, but no. It gave us some time to see what happened before that, and I love that we realized that, oh my god, that was before Jamie found out what happened to Claire, and I thought that was an amazing way they did that. It really put us back in the story and catched us up very well, because, I mean, it has been a while. It's been since September that Outlander's been on, so I'm so happy that they did that because it really catched us up perfectly. So we jump to where Claire's being cold, and the soldier is posting on the water's edge, and this time, we basically see the same scene, but from Jamie's point of view, and it was really well done the way they did that, because Murtaugh sneaks up from behind, pulls the soldier back in the darkness, and when the soldier gone, Jamie comes up from a hiding spot and joins Murtaugh in interrogating the soldier about the Englishwoman's whereabouts, and it takes threatening to cut apart all of his manhood off to get a location, because of course he wants to find her, and once the soldier confesses to where he is, Jamie leaves to signal to the others, and I love the way that they did the opening title sequence. It was really cool. So we saw Jamie getting dressed, and Jamie he's such a badass. This shows how much of a badass he really is, and once the soldier confessed, Jamie leaves to signal the others to the coast that is clear, and while Murtaugh says thanks, he knocks the soldier out. Angus comes into the scene, Rupert stays behind with the soldier, while the other three venture further into the fort. So Jamie knocks out another town guard before finding a way down to Jack's office, and he raises his gun and basically says, "I'll thank you, take my hands off my wife," and I thought that was awesome when we saw that. And we see this look of relief that comes over Claire's face, because, she didn't know what was going to happen to her. It looked like he was going to cut her nipples off. That's what it looked like, and I just love the way they did this scene, because you can see Jamie about to, like, he's ready to attack Jack. You can see Claire not knowing what's about to happen. I mean, there are a million things that could have happened here, and, I mean, there was a part where I thought Jack was going to die, but then I thought Jack's our main villain. There's no way they're going to kill off Jack, and especially in episode 9, the mid-season premiere of the first season, there's no way they're going to kill off Jack. So Jack says in reply, and a look, basically, Jack's like, oh, good, you're here. He's like, he's so upset that he's here and everything, and he basically, you can see the look on Jack's face. He's ready to kick Jamie's ass. The thing is, though, you know that it's not going to work. And basically, the look of elation comes across his face, and Jack comments on his handiwork on Jamie's back and asks if he can see his scars. And when he said that, I'm like, fuck you, Jack, seriously. Like, you're going to bring up the fact that you whipped Jamie right in front of his wife. Like, how much of a low blow can, like, how far can you go? Like, seriously, man, that is such, really is. I mean, just the fact that he mentioned the scars on Jamie's back, I thought that was just really upsetting that he did that. And right when Claire's there, that's like the worst thing to do. So Jack comments on his handiwork, and basically, Jamie's like, it'll be the last thing you ever saw, and I love that he said that. Was so awesome. Claire is madly trying to tell Jamie to kill Jack, but this enrages Jack even more, and the whole time just like, Claire, shut up, seriously. He brings her off the desk with the knife to her neck, and he looks like he's about to kill Claire, and you can see his look on Jamie's face, where he's like, you're gonna get your ass kicked right now. Jack still endeavors to rape Claire, now with Jamie watching. Jamie's relinquishing the gun, and Claire's imploring Jamie to leave as Jack grabs Jamie's gun, and as soon as Jack drops his knife, he fires the gun, but the gun does not fire, it's empty, and I thought that was awesome when we saw that. I'm like, oh yeah, your gun doesn't work, and Jamie takes the opportunity to grab Jack, knock him out of the desk, and as Jamie and Claire are about to leave the room, Jamie narrates about why he did not kill Jack, and basically because he just didn't feel like he should have, and he would have regretted it, and I thought that was really done that we saw why he didn't kill Jack. I thought that was really good. It's also foreshadowing, what's to come, that eventually he's gonna kill Jack. I'm pretty sure that by the end of this season, Jack's gonna be dead and we're gonna have a new villain. I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna do here. This seems like the kind of show where they're just gonna get a new villain every season. I don't know how the books work, so again, guys, I don't know too much about the books, so I know that Jack is, I don't know if Jack dies in the books. Don't tell me anything, because like I feel like the show, it does respect the books, but I do feel like they could change a few things there. So I don't really know exactly what is going to happen there. We'll have to see though. So Claire and Jamie are trying to escape. They run to soldiers in such an awesome way to start the episode. I mean, just this constant tension throughout this whole scene. It was so well done, and it perfectly put us back into the action. The way they did that, I thought was awesome, and I love that, especially because it was from Jamie's point of view, and the whole episode is pretty much from Jamie's point of view. There's not a lot, there is stuff with Claire, but nothing individually with Claire. There's no Claire thinking about Frank. I mean, sure, she's definitely thinking about Frank and everything, and about that thing that happened with her hearing him. I'm sure she's still thinking about that, we just don't really see it here. So, we see this line of soldiers, they're about to fire on them, and the huge explosion goes off, knocking the soldiers down as well as Claire and Jamie. To escape the castle, they jump into the water from a high wall, and that was such an awesome scene. I love that, and that was just such an awesome way to start the episode. So then we move along to the next morning, where the group riding fast to escape whomever may be able after them, and because they don't know who's after them at this point, and they stop along a riverbed for a brief rest. When they are about 2 hours out from the drover, Jamie takes Claire to the side to have a discussion with her about what has happened and to demand an apology. And Claire's clearly flabbergasted by the demand, considering what she has been through, which is understandable. And the fight's escalating enough that there is slapping and grabbing, and this is clearly two strong people who are fighting when each thinks they are the ones who are right. And basically, Jamie thinks Claire ran off to get back, and I thought this was interesting when we saw that, Claire and Jamie were fighting here. I thought it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed this scene overall. And Jamie thinks Claire should obey him at all times. Claire does not want to get to be thought of as property, and honestly, they both make good points here. I mean, the point that Jamie makes where Claire should have listened to him, I understand that, but I like that Claire's saying that I am not your property. I can do what I want. I'm not some child. I can do, and I thought that was a really good scene overall, because it's not like, oh, I picked Claire over Jamie. No, I think they both had really good points, and at points Jamie was being really annoying, Claire was being really annoying, and it only gets to the point when they're both calling each other horrible names that Jamie doesn't even know. I mean, Claire calls him a fucking asshole and things like that, and she, is calling him basically a sadist, and But what I love is that they both end in each other's arms. They're apologizing, and we see a narration by Jamie saying that he loved her even before then, that he's always loved her, and how he couldn't get mad at her because he just loved her so much. And I thought that was really well done. I definitely really enjoyed the narration. And again, just seeing how Jamie feels about Claire was really well done. I thought they did that a very good job with that. So they arrive back at the Drover and join the rest of the clan that stayed behind, and Claire's given the cold shoulder when she tries to speak to them and apologize, and she instead decides to turn in for the night before Jamie joins her. And Murtaugh says that she does not understand what she almost cost them, and it is Jamie's place to make her realize that. And it is true. I mean, she almost cost them to die. I do understand what Jamie is saying, where she should have listened to him. Yes, she should have. Of course, he doesn't know what was going on with Frank and everything, because she can't tell him that. He wouldn't understand that. But there is the fact that, yeah, she should have listened to him. I do understand that she wants to get out of Castle Leoch, but she's married to Jamie now. I mean, that's her main focus now, is to be married to Jamie, and she needs to understand that. So Claire's already under the covers. Jamie arrives in their room, and she wonders if the men will ever speak to her again. Because, I mean, she doesn't want to listen to them. They're not listening to her. She really doesn't know if she's on their good side or not. So Jamie assures her that they will. Everything will be okay, not to worry about it. And I like that he's just telling her everything will be okay. And we get to what might be the funniest scene in Outlander history. Now, this is going to be a very controversial scene. I know right now this is going to probably be one of the most controversial scenes in Outlander, but it honestly was really funny. Claire asks Jamie to come to bed, but Jamie says they have a matter to settle before that happens. He pulls off his belt and asks Claire to raise her shift. And I'm just like, who are you, Christian Grey? Put that belt away. Like, seriously, Jamie. And we see another fight that has Claire trying to escape Jamie, and he has it's actually really funny. Like, she's just like getting away from him, and it honestly was a really funny scene until Jamie has to whip her and everything. But here's the thing, that was okay back then. It wasn't seen as a bad thing, so the fact that Jamie did that, I'm not gonna get upset at it, because that was an okay thing back then. Okay, it wasn't rape. He did it because she needed to be punished, and it overall was pretty funny. So she comes down the next day extremely embarrassed, especially when she's asked to sit, and she's like, no, I'm standing. I am not sitting. I mean, she's obviously not sitting. She was whipped like 5 times. It was pretty funny. She's still pissed at Jamie. You can see that she's pissed at him, and the clan leaves to go back to Castle Leoch, and they then arrive, because they actually never, finished their honeymoon. So they've now finished their honeymoon. They go back to Castle Leoch, and it was great to see everyone again. It was great to see, Miss Fitz again, Dougal. I love seeing all of them again. So the married couple arrives to cheers and congrats in the castle, especially from Mrs. Fitz, and the commotion stops as Letita and Colum arrive in the hall, and Lydia says her congratulations, but Colum says only congratulations to Lady Brock to Rock, nothing to Jamie, and I thought that was really interesting. So Jamie is really confused as to why Colum didn't say anything. On his way to meet with Colum, though, we see Leary, and Leary, I'm pretty sure, is going to be the hated character of the show. I can already tell the people hate her character, but here's the thing. I don't hate Leary's character. I really don't hate Leary's character. I am going to say what I saw on Twitter, though. That basically, that she is trying to pull what someone called a cookie lion, and I can understand why somebody said that. I can understand why they said that, and I definitely really do enjoy this plot. I don't hate Leary by any means. I think she is a good character. I mean, she's always loved Jamie. She's always been in love with him, so I can understand why what she's going through. She's very teary-eyed. She wants an explanation about the surprise marriage. Of course, she didn't know they were married. She knew nothing about it, and I like what Jamie says. He says it was arranged. It wasn't his, it wasn't his idea. They were basically forced to get married, and he promises one at a later time, and I thought that was really good overall. I mean, he wasn't rude about it. He just telling her, look, it wasn't the best, we had to do this. You can't be mad at us because we had no choice, which is true. They really didn't have a choice but to get married. So Leary can't be upset at them for that. And I understand she loves Jamie, but she just needs to get over him, and we'll get to that. So Jamie arrives in Colum's study in the company of Ned and Dougal, and Colum wants to know what happened in Fort William, and because he doesn't know what happened. And Colum is also wise to the other money they collected when they were out on their rent trip, because that's where they're coming back from, if you remember. If you remember, the only reason Claire and Jamie got married was because Jack was going to go after them and everything, and basically we now see that, they're back from their rent trip and everything. They basically wants to know about the funds raised for Bonnie, Prince Charlie, and the Jacobite cause, which they're setting up the Jacobite revolution here, which I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there. I mean, they're definitely setting that up, and basically, Dougal and Colm butt heads on the issue. Unfortunately, Dougal lets it slip that he insured his bloodline, and Hamish is not Colm's son, but Dougal's. And I thought that was a really interesting twist when we found that out, that Dougal is actually Hamish's son. It was really well done. It's a very small twist, but it's really well done because it really turns Colm against Jamie. He gets really upset at Jamie. And as Dougal and Ned leave, Jamie's asked to stay, but Colm confronts him on his marriage to Claire. And his plan is to have Jamie inherit the clan and the castle. That can't happen now because Claire is a Sassenach, and now that she's a Sassenach, that can't, that can't happen now, and all his plans because he wanted Jamie to inherit the throne, and he wanted him to take over as the king, and I thought that was really interesting when we found that out. I didn't think that he would say that, but I thought that was just really interesting when we found out that he wanted him to take over, and the fact that now he can't do that, it makes us care more about their relationship overall. I thought it was really well done. I thought they handled that in a very good way. Definitely, I really enjoyed that. That was really, really good. So, as basically Dougal and Ned leave, basically then we see that in their castle rooms, Jamie and Claire discuss the revelation that Dougal is Hamish's father, and Jamie, it seemed like he wanted, I thought this was really good. Basically, they're talking about how they had no idea that Dougal is Hamish's father, and Jamie sees her getting ready for bed, and slipping on their covers, he starts to undress, but Claire's like, no, are you kidding me? Like, Claire's obviously not gonna get into bed with him after he beat her. Like, seriously, Jamie, what did you think was gonna happen? You really thought that you'd beat Claire, and then she'd be like, alright, let's have sex. You really thought that was gonna happen? No, that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna beat her and then have sex with her. It's not gonna work out that way. She's already very sore. She's really pissed at you. The best thing to do is to just talk to her and not do anything else. And I thought that was really funny overall. That's one of my favorite parts of the episode, honestly, is the constant tension between them. I thought was really funny. But it's funny. It's not like just dramatic tension. It's funny overall, which I enjoyed seeing. So the episode shifts to the next day as Angus and Rupert are confronting Willie on his betrayal, and it's evident that Willie told Colm about the other money, and Jamie and Murtaugh arrive and break the struggle up, and Jamie's also asked where his loyalties lie, and he pretty much admits to being faithful to the Laird, and Dougal arrives, and it becomes clear where everyone's loyalties lie. The once tight-knit group of men, they're completely split now, and later on, Murtaugh and Jamie have a conversation by the castle wall, and Murtaugh asks Jamie to run away with Claire to avoid the split that is forming in the clan, which I think is the best thing to do. But here's the thing, Jamie needs to pick a side now. Like, does he want to be on the Mackenzie clan, or does he want to be with Claire? But I like what Jamie says, that with a wife now, he doesn't need to run away because he's married, and the thing is, if he runs away, he has no shelter, he has nothing to provide for his wife, so basically, they're all he has. The Mackenzie clan, he's staying with them because they're all he has, and that's the only way he can provide for Claire. Because, I mean, they're married now. They need to have something, he needs to provide for her. He needs to give her the money and things like that, and they can't do that if he doesn't have, money and things like that. So that's very important for him to have, and I thought that was really interesting. Also, Claire and Jamie also have this conversation about how Jack is still after them. You can see that Jamie doesn't really care, which I thought was kind of funny. I mean, Jack is clearly nothing to Jamie. Like, Jack is nothing to Jamie, but here's the thing. Jack is still out there, and Jamie doesn't seem to be very concerned. I think it's just because he thinks that he can protect Claire and everything, but who knows what can happen the next time. I mean, he can't just think that everything's okay just because he got Claire away from Jack. That doesn't mean that Jack's not going to stop coming after them. Jack is still coming after them, but we don't really know what's going on there. So Jamie meets with Colm again to ask him to make peace with Dougal for the good of the clan, and Jamie asks Colm, because, I mean, that was the best thing to do. I mean, they're butting heads so much, and Colm's so upset at Dougal that maybe they should just make up, and Jamie asks Colm to give Dougal back the Jacobite gold, and there's a jump in the timeline to Dougal and Ned joining in on the meeting, and Colm warns Dougal of his treason, both to the crown and the clan, but gives him the gold anyway, which is the best thing to do. They were really having so much tension over it. It was the best thing to just give him the gold. So Colm asks Ned to invite the Duke of Sandringham to a dinner in his honor, and the episode then flashes back to the scene that opened it, and Jamie's on the riverbank, and a blonde approaches, and it's Leary. And this scene, I'm basically going to say what they said, that she is pulling a Cookie Lion. I saw this on Twitter, and I agree. She's pulling a Cookie Lion. She's trying to basically kissed Jamie, and she's found him for a better explanation of why he married Jamie, and basically that's what she wants to know, of why he married Claire. That's what she wants to know, and it's clear that Laoghorie does not even really care that he's married, you can tell, and as she will take what she can get from Jamie, and I like that he refuses. Here's the thing. I mean, she's not a bad person. I understand she's loved Jamie for a while, but you can't just expect him to, like, have an affair. He's not going to do that. Literally, you're asking him to have an affair. I mean, that's going a little bit too far, seriously. Just maybe a little bit too far. I'm just saying, maybe just a little bit too far for Jamie to, you know, what Jamie's doing. I think he might just be going a little bit too far. I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure, I think he's just going, you know, I think that's just going a bit too far. And I like that he refused to her, and as much as I like Laoghorie, you need to move on. I'm sorry, you need to move on from Jamie. You need to realize that Jamie's with Claire, and you're not going to be with him. It's that simple. You had your chance, but now he's with Claire, and that's how it's going to be. So, the last scene in the episode, I really enjoyed this. We basically see we're in Jamie and Claire's room, and Jamie has decided to end his situation with Claire, and he realized that he cannot treat Claire like any other wife, and I like this. She's special with a strong will, and the relationship has to be different. He swears to Claire his loyalty, and to never hurt her physically again, and Claire has no reaction to this, but you can see that she struggles with her feelings for Jamie, because she still is in love with Frank, obviously. She still has those feelings for Frank, and she still doesn't really know if she can trust Jamie all the way. I mean, she's still trying to see if she can trust him, and especially after that beating, you can definitely see that she is very confused now. So, Jamie explains the origin of her wedding ring made from a key to his home, Lallybroch, and they begin to kiss, and they do end up having sex, and basically Claire's on top, and she she threatens to cut his throat if he ever touches her again, which I thought was really funny. And basically, after they have sex, they lay in each other's arms, and I love the way the episode ends, because Jamie asks her what fucking and sadist means, because he didn't know what they meant, and because Claire used those two words in the argument by the riverbed, and Jamie rises to fetch something to eat, and basically Claire talks about what the two words meant, and Claire finds this ill wish under the bed, and Claire asks who would do such a thing, and it's Laoghorie. So, Laoghorie's trying to find a loophole in their marriage. She's trying to find something to get them out of their marriage, and it's not getting well for anyone. So overall, guys, this was a great mid-season premiere. Love where the season is going. A lot of things I want to talk about here. Definitely a lot of things. I want to talk about, a lot of people are talking about the spanking scene and everything. I just found it to be a fun scene. I mean, I understand that they had to keep it in there, but I found it to be funny just because of the fact that, I mean, I understand, Jamie now realizes that he needs to treat Claire with respect and not just some other wife. She is his wife, he needs to treat her with respect, and she needs to treat him like his wife. He can't just treat her like dirt, basically. He needs to treat her like someone he truly loves, and I know people are like, why do you find that funny? It was funny because the way they did it with her just, like, running away, I thought was kind of funny, but also it wasn't bad back then what he was doing, so why are we getting so upset about it? I mean, yeah, this was a pre-BDSM world, but whatever. Let's talk about let's talk about how Colm and Jamie are going to be. Now, I feel really bad for Jamie. I mean, Colm wanted him to inherit the throne, and clearly, I don't know if, I kind of feel like Colm is making Laoghorie do this, because why else would he want someone to get, you know, why else would Laoghorie want to be after Jamie? I mean, if Laoghorie and Jamie were married, then basically he would be able to inherit the throne, and that would make Colm happy. So I kind of feel like Colm blackmailed Laoghorie into doing this. I'm sure she loves Jamie, but he probably told her seduce Jamie, because it just feels like, I feel like Laoghorie would not do that. It just seems like too much of a low blow. It seems like, it just seems like Laoghorie would not do that. I feel like Laoghorie was told by Colm to do that, but what do you guys think is going on there? Jamie staying with the Mackenzie clan, I think, is the best thing to do. You know, he needs to find a way to provide for Claire, and if that's the best way he can provide for Claire, then so be it. Let's talk about Jack. The promo for the season looks very crazy and fucking intense, and I can't wait for it, but we see that Jack is definitely coming after Jamie. Jack is definitely getting his revenge on Jamie. I can tell this is not the end. Even though they think that this is the end, oh no, Jack is definitely coming after Jamie. While they think that, I think everything's going to be okay between them, definitely, I think that, you know, definitely you can tell that something bad is going to happen to Jamie. I mean, they don't say exactly what's happening to him, but you can tell that something's going to happen to Jamie, and I can't wait to see what happens there. But I love where the season is going. I already love the season. This just made me love the season even more. I love the struggle between Claire and Jamie. I love their little fights. I think they're really funny as well. And especially the last scene I thought was really well done. The spanking scene, as I said, I didn't really find anything wrong with it. I just found it to be kind of just a fun scene. But what do you guys think? That's in my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for a movie review. So I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.